This PC. Okay, so again, I want to thank everyone for joining me. This is my monthly meeting. I'm excited about the meeting today. And Mayor, you have a big glare behind your head.
That's my halo. Sorry.
Again, I want to welcome everyone to the call. This is a monthly meeting that I host. And I am not the expert on the call. I have subject matter experts on the call, and it is to give you information about what's happening in Forest Park. And so before we get started, though, I do want to say welcome to our mayor. So Mayor, I want to give you a chance to say hello. I don't know if you have, I'm sure you have another meeting to attend, but I'll give you an opportunity to say hello.
And now I just wanted to say hello to everyone and to thank you for putting this on. I'm going to send you an email that if you could announce at the end, that will be appreciated.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You sure you don't want to announce it now? Because
well, okay. Yeah, I don't want to take a whole lot of time. But if you on our website soon, we will have information for a public hearing that we're going to have regarding the Urban Redevelopment Authority and us expanding our powers so that we can get the process started for these capital improvement projects. So look out for that. I believe it's going to be March 1st, but look out for our website within the next week or so. And I'll get details.
It's actually out there. I saw it. It's out there.
Oh, good. Okay.
So perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Madam Mayor. So again, this is our meeting that I host once a month on the third Thursday of the month. So I appreciate you for joining me, whether you're joining me live or you're watching this on a recorded call. The call is being recorded so that the information can get back to our residents here in the city of Forest Park on things that are happening. I am so honored that we have an incoming city manager that's on the call. I know he said that he may not be able to join because he has a meeting, but I want to give Dr. Cooper an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself before we proceed with the call. Dr. Cooper?
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It is a great honor and privilege to be joining the team in Forest Park, and I look forward to doing some great things. I know, we have a lot of work to do, and I'm just excited to be joining and excited to get to work. So I do appreciate everyone, and I do appreciate the council's faith in me, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Wonderful. Now, Dr. Cooper, I hate to put you on the spot, but just give us a little bit of your background so that people kind of know who you are.
Sure. My my whole career started in law enforcement with the city of Detroit, working undercover gangs and narcotics. Went through several different levels of government, from law enforcement to public works to fleet management to the water utility. I served in banking. I had a very wide background. I have several years of experience being a chief executive with several different water utilities, from Atlanta to the city of Detroit. And currently I am the deputy city manager with the city of Deltona, and looking forward to coming to Forest Park.
All right. Well, we're excited to have you. Welcome aboard, and
thank you.
We appreciate you, and thank you for joining us on the call.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I know that Director Jinks mentioned that they may have some internet issues, so I'm going to try to get him out of the way first. So Director Jinks, if you can give us an update on Public Works.
Yes, for all the people that's live, Waste Management shut down on Tuesday due to the cold weather. So all your routes are a day behind. So if you're wondering why your sanitation's behind, that's why. And our Parks Department's been out cleaning the parks, pruning limbs and everything. Our Street Division's been out trying to keep all the ditches clean with all this lovely rain we've been having. And building maintenance has been handling some issues over at PB&Z, and Street Department's been assisting, and our fleet service is keeping everything up and running with no major cost as of yet. And that's about it.
All right, and I'm gonna get over and see that mural. I noticed that it was gone, and I was like, oh, where is it? So I'm gonna get over and see that.
Yeah, we, is in storage over at the old street school. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
assuming whenever y'all decide where you want it, we'll reinstall it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Let me pause for a moment. I see a fellow council member on the call with me. Councilman Gutierrez, you want to say hello to the folks? Thanks for chiming in.
Hey, Councilwoman James. Yeah, just sorry I was late. Yeah, it was really nice to hear from Dr. Cooper too. Very excited he's coming over, and yeah, just joining in. I love all the updates that you always have, so I'm here to listen in on everything.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. All right. We're going to go to our police department, Lieutenant Yermak.
So I looked at the crime numbers for Ward 1 and compared last year, 2020, through this year, 2021. There really hasn't been any statistical increase or decrease in those numbers, from what we saw last year to now. There's been a slight decrease. I really think it's just more of, not that we've done anything more or less. It's just, sometimes the numbers ebb and flow. And I really think that that's what this is here. The biggest thing that we're seeing right now in Ward 1 are really just crimes of opportunity. Specifically with all the cold weather, we have seen a couple of warm-up thefts where folks go outside to warm their car up. They leave it running unlocked with the keys in it, even for a short period of time, and they come back and the car's gone. So, we really caution against that. Same thing with unlocked cars. We always see stuff where somebody leaves a purse or a handbag, a book bag in an unlocked car. And, maybe over the night hours, somebody comes and opens the door with it being unlocked, takes the purse or the book bag and never to be seen again. And then just a few shoplifting things. There's not a lot of retail in Ward 1, but we have seen some, just in that north side area, specifically the Jonesboro Road corridor. We have some issues there with Family Dollar. So we've really been working and trying to get out, talk to the managers at the stores, anytime they see anything or hear anything, to give us a call. So we're trying to be as proactive as we can. We're really trying to, make sure we're out in the community every day doing our citizen contacts. And that's really what we see, helps us drive down those numbers.
I forgot I muted myself. Thank you so much for that update. And Batten, I know you were with the fire department. Are you captain? I want to get your title correct. Okay, captain. Okay, you have the floor, sir.
All right. Well, thank you. I've just got a little bit of a brief thing to talk about. You notice, I think everyone has received a news tip or a safety tip every month from me via email as far as employees of the city. That's also posted on the website for the community to look at. And if they go to the forestpark.org website and click through the top banner where it's got some arrows on the side, they can click over. I think it's 3 or 4, and it shows you the safety tip for the month. That safety tip this past month was on heating safety because of the cold weather. And so we've been touching on that for the last 2 months, really. Space heaters, and then now just regular heating safety. In the near future, and as the weather's warming up, I'll be posting one on grill safety, outdoor barbecuing. That seems to be a concern going on right now when we have a few nice warm days. And so that's going to be posted in the near future. And I'm prepared to go over a little bit with you right now if you would like, but
yeah, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
All right. With the grilling safety, in our apartment complexes, that's one where we have our biggest problem. They want to barbecue on their balconies and stuff. That's not allowed. They need to be away from the building. So most of the time it happens on the weekends when we're not here. But as far as your residentials, using propane or charcoal grills, use them outdoors only. We have had incidents where they bring them inside the the house, and that's never a good mix because of the carbon monoxide that it's off-gassing. We've had incidences over here off of Courtney Drive to where we almost had a severe incident where they were overcome by carbon monoxide, where they had barbecued outside on a charcoal grill, brought it inside to keep someone from stealing it after they grilled, and they had trouble waking the kids up the next morning. So they were all transported and checked out, and I mean, they were fine, thank goodness. But never take one inside the house. If you're going to use them away from the house, at least 10 feet away from the house. Keep your children and pets away from them, especially when they're wanting to play. Keep the grill clean from the grease and fats after you've cooked on them to keep flare-ups. Never leave it unattended, and always make sure that the lid is open on gas grills when you go to light them. Charcoal grills, starting them, most of the time you start them with lighter fluid. There's other alternatives. The chimneys that they sell now, you can use crumpled up newspapers up underneath them and get the coals going without having to add an accelerant to it. Never use anything other than the recommended features like charcoal lighter fluid, obviously. But if you run out of charcoal lighter fluid, don't use some other accelerants to do it with. I've seen people try to use gasoline. It's not a good mix either. But after you've finished using it, make sure you put those things away. Keep kids out. Keep it out of the reach of kids. Another alternative to charcoal starters are the electric starters, often seen with the green egg and things like that. And but other than that, just use good common sense and just be careful with them and know that you have an open flame going on when you're grilling. But this will be posted on the website, like I said, in the near future. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it for March or April.
I appreciate that. And, education is very important. A lot of things happening in Texas. And I was just having a conversation with my daughter, and she mentioned that she really didn't learn about the poison that you could get when people are warming up their cars and their garage is closed, except for watching it on TV. And so I think it's important that people are educated about that silent killer.
That's
carbon monoxide. But thank you so much. I appreciate you, Captain Batson. We're going to move on to our Planning and Zoning Department. I know that Director Shelby has another meeting at 6. So Director Shelby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you for having us this evening. I want to talk about a couple of things. And then Ken Fleming with our Code Enforcement Division is here. He's going to talk about abandoned vehicles, some issues that we're having with that. But right now we're working on our zoning ordinance update. We're continuing to have public meetings on that. And please check the city's website for those dates of those meetings. We just had a core meeting of the LCI Main Street project. As you know, that's a grant, $150,000 grant that we got from ARC, Atlanta Regional Commission. And so we have 2 more public meetings coming up very soon. And there's a survey on our website that I'm hoping that everyone will please go on and take the survey. Sometimes people don't want to talk out in public, but this way you can voice your opinion by filling out the survey. And so we're hoping that everyone will participate in that. And as you know, Councilwoman, we have all the capital projects that we're working on at the moment. And as the mayor mentioned, we're having a public hearing on the expansion of the urban redevelopment boundaries. So I'm hoping that everyone will attend that meeting. If they have questions, we'll be able to answer those questions for them. And I too would like to welcome Dr. Cooper. I was at the City of Atlanta at one point as the Commissioner of Planning. I vaguely remember you. I think you were up in Watershed, I think.
Yes, but, sir, I sure was.
I don't know if you remember me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay then. Well, I tell you what, I look forward to working with you. These are some exciting times in Forest Park. I just mentioned the zoning ordinance that hadn't been updated since 1959. So
all right.
You can imagine what we're going through, but we're having a great time, great staff working there at Forest Park. And so we welcome you and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And with that, Ken Fleming is on. And Ken,
Yes.
you want to talk about these abandoned vehicles that we're having around town?
And before you go, Ken, and Director Shelby, can you post by any chance? I got a request from one of the residents on the call. If you could post a survey in the chat, do you know how to do that?
I apologize for that. I'm a little challenged with that, but
Okay, that's
if they
fine.
would go to, Councilwoman, if they would go to our website, it's there. It's right there on the front page. And they would just take that survey for me. I would appreciate it.
Okay.
And if they have issues with it, council, they can give me a call and I'll make sure that they get the survey.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Okay. Mr. Ken, go ahead, sir.
Well, good evening, Councilwoman James and the distinguished guest. Good to be here. First, I just, for your ward, Councilwoman James, just as a report, there were 26 cases for the month of January in your ward. 12 cases were resolved and 13 are carrying over to the month of February to get some voluntary compliance. Now, there was one case heard today that was in your ward on Hendricks Drive of illegal dumping. I thought you might be interested in hearing.
Yeah.
We have an Officer Bivens that found a discarded garbage bag there on the sidewalk on Hendricks next to the school. She went through it, got some evidence, prima facie evidence out of it, mailed citations. The case was heard today, and the two individuals were fined $500 for that.
Okay.
I mean, so she's doing a good job trying to keep your ward clean. I think it's pretty much Officer Bivens, and I think I've got a couple of cases in that area. She had 2 cases of parking in the grass out of the 26. You had 6 junk inoperable vehicle cases, and I'll go over what is a junk vehicle or inoperable vehicle by city ordinance. We had 9 outdoor storage of material cases, 1 trash and debris. We had a commercial vehicle case in your area where it's a vehicle that weighs over a ton or is considered a commercial vehicle placed in a residence, but that was removed. None permitted accessory structure was addressed in that ward. 2 building code violations, and this is at 4233 Jonesboro Road. It's our Parkside Crossing apartment complex. And we had officers go out there. I think there was an issues with some leaks in one of the units and no heat in one of the units, but we got that resolved. And 2 prohibited signs that was on Jonesboro Road of basically businesses installing signs on their face of the building without first obtaining the required sign permits. So they're doing a good job out there getting the Ward 1 cleaned up. But I want to, as our director, Mr. Shelby, had mentioned, inoperable vehicles or junk vehicles, derelict vehicles, we see quite a bit throughout the city. And we have to educate the citizens because I don't believe they're aware of what constitutes an inoperable vehicle, which by definition of city ordinance is a vehicle which is unusable or in disrepair because of one or more major parts needed for its operation. Damaged or destroyed vehicles or vehicles made not safe through disrepair damage. And also, a lot of folks don't realize if the vehicle doesn't have a current tag on it, it must have a current tag on the vehicle to be, or it would be considered inoperable, and we'll have to address it. Now, one option the citizens have when they have these type of vehicles is either get them repaired and get a current tag or store them inside of a building so they're not visible from adjoining properties or public right-of-ways. And one thing the citizens don't really understand, when they have a vehicle that doesn't run and they put in the backyard, all that does is create a harborage for rodents and reptiles, and then we have unhealthy conditions for the community surrounding that property. So we try to educate the citizens out there about that. Now, for the most part, a lot of citizens, they understand and they fix their vehicles or get them removed. But there's a small percentage we have to bring to court because of this. So we just want the citizens to know and if they have any questions, please contact us. But as our code section 82104 in the property maintenance does state, it's unlawful to place, keep, store, or allow to remain any inoperable vehicle or derelict vehicle on the front yard, side yard, or rear yard. And our ordinance does state it must be stored inside of a building if it's in an inoperative state. Basically, if you can't legally drive it on the road, then it's inoperable. But again, we try to educate the citizens. We serve them a notice to give them a fair opportunity to bring them into compliance by repairing them or putting them in the garage or having them towed away. So it just it's one of our more violated ordinances in the city. And we're doing our best to try to get it cleaned up, and hopefully citizens will be receptive to our visit and will comply with the ordinance that our council has adopted.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we need that because we want to make our city look good. And so, and we want to keep us safe, and we want to make sure we don't have any extra rodents running around.
That is true.
So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We have Danita from the Economic Development Department. Ms. Danita, do you have any updates for us?
Am I unmuted? Okay.
Yes.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you. And thank you for putting that survey out there. By the way, that survey is out on the chat.
Yes, I did post that for you all. I just so happened to have an email with it in there. So
thank you.
So as you know, with the Economic Development Department, we can't really announce too much ever. But we did have a few things get finalized in the month of January that are actually very exciting. The first one being in late January, Amazon did announce that they were going to have several new locations in the state of Georgia. One of those locations is going to be at the Gillum Logistics Center. I believe it's a 400,000 square foot facility. And I can't say when they'll be coming, but that was the announcement. Amazon will be coming to the city of Forest Park.
Yes.
Another thing with Gillum actually is that Kroger recently was approved for a REBA grant through the Department of Community Affairs for $1.3 million. And that's to expand their facility as well as work on a road expansion out at Gillum. Miss LaShawn Gardner with the city of Forest Park, she's the management analyst. She actually worked on that. So I don't know if she's on, but she may have more info about that. But that is exciting. So with that Kroger expansion and with Amazon, there should be approximately 1,000+ jobs coming to the Gillum area over the next year or so. And then because of that, the Economic Development Department has been working with Clayton County, the Atlanta Regional Commission, and Clayton State to figure out different ways to promote job fairs and that kind of thing so that we can make sure we get the word out once those jobs become available. And then the last thing that I have is something that was recently approved. The Development Authority, they are working on remodeling some of the buildings that they own, 751 to 771 Main Street. If you're not familiar with the addresses, it's like Sonia's Kitchen, Scentfuls. What else is over there? There's like an art shop over there. So that area over there by the Big Blue Theater, across the street from it, they're working on remodeling that area. So they recently selected a contractor for that project. That is it over here. Well, that's what we can announce.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's exciting what's happening in Forest Park. So Dr. Cooper, we have a lot going on, sir. So,
yes.
I know that the workforce development piece is something that I really want to make sure our citizens are a part of. I want to get our students involved in it, make sure they know of the opportunity to work here in the city and our residents. So I'm going to be calling on you, sir, to help get some of this stuff going.
Look forward to it.
All right. I know we have, and LaShawn, do you have anything that you would like to add to anything that Danita had mentioned? I thought I saw her on. Let's see. Let me unmute you. Ms. Gardner?
Hi, I'm sorry. This is a different LaShawn.
Oh,
This
okay,
is-
sorry.
No problem.
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Thank you for joining us, LaShawn, too. We're gonna move on to our special guest that we have on the line with us. Let me make sure we don't have any other city employees. Is there any other city employee that's on the line that I missed? Okay, perfect. We're gonna move on to Miss Stacy Tolbert from the Department of Health. Could you please give us an update on the vaccine and everything that you all are doing as it relates to the county? Let me see if I can find you.
I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Okay, there you are.
I just started talking. As I said earlier, thank you for inviting me. It is always a pleasure to be a part of your meetings and to impart some of the information that we have. As far as the vaccine is concerned, one of the major things that we always promote is that the vaccine for us is by appointment only. It's across the state, it's across the US. As you know, and you've seen and you've heard, there's always typically a shortage of the vaccine or possibly not enough of it coming out. So with that, for us, we definitely stick to the rules and the protocols that have been placed out for us. As far as who we vaccinate, we are still in phase 1 of vaccination. That is phase 1, tier 1A, which has been expanded. That includes all healthcare workers, both paid and unpaid. It includes our first responders, as well as those individuals that are 65 years and older and their caregivers. And when we say caregivers, we've had situations where like entire families show up saying they're the caregiver for grandma. And unfortunately, we can only take the 2 major caregivers that actually have that direct contact with grandmother. So again, CDC and the vaccine program, they are very stringent upon how we handle this vaccine because again, it is contingent upon availability, our ability to actually give out the vaccine and schedule individuals for it. So to date, Clayton County has scheduled or vaccinated as a combination about 17,000 individuals. Now those individuals, again, per the state database, is for Clayton County. I cannot give you exactly which city numbers those vaccinations are from because again, they could come from anywhere, from any county. However, the state does have a vaccine database that is on their website, and I will give you that information at the end, where you could also go in and look at that information. Vaccination is very, very important. One of the meetings that I did have with the City of Forest Park, Keith Horton and Dr. Augustine, was how we're going to start targeting those vulnerable populations that include those individuals that are bedbound, those individuals that may be in shelters and homeless individuals. So those are discussions that are on the table right now that we're having because we do know that these are going to be challenges for us when we get to that phase for vaccinating. So we're working collaboratively to come up with a plan so that we can ensure that basically everyone has access to this vaccine. As far as the whole of Clayton County, again, we are pushing and promoting the tier that we are vaccinating. So with that, just because we're vaccinating, we have not stopped the process of testing. Testing is still extremely important because individuals need to know whether or not they have contracted the virus. And with that, on our website, claytoncountypublichealth.org, our epidemiology department constantly posts information and those statistics that are targeting Clayton County. It is also divided by zip codes. And I'm looking to my left because that's where my screen is. But when you go to that website, and again, I will post that website for you, it will bring you up to the latest statistics for Clayton County. Our epidemiology department, they will post every Monday. They update every Monday by 1 o'clock. So if they don't post by Monday, 1 o'clock, it is because they have something going on. They're typically really good about that, and they will post first thing Tuesday morning. Looking at your area for the 30297 zip code, that area is still in somewhat our high zone. So that means that your area has anywhere from 1,800 individuals to 3,600 individuals that have tested positive. Doesn't mean that there are 3,600 individuals. There's a range that is there. So with this, we are looking at, as of February 14th, Clayton County has an estimated number of 20,095 cases of the novel virus and about 336 confirmed deaths. This accounts for about 2.5% of the total cases in Georgia. So again, Clayton County is accounting for about 2.5% of the total cases that are in Georgia. And that is about 5.8% of the positive cases in Clayton County have been hospitalized, and about 1.7% of these cases that are positive in Clayton County have unfortunately passed away. So it is still extremely important that we educate our community on the safety measures and the protocols that are out there for them to ensure that we are trying to reduce the spread of this virus. And again, that's all simply about washing hands, still wearing the face mask, and the social distancing. A lot of people believe, oh, I've gotten the vaccine, I've gotten my first dose, I'm good, I can actually go around family. No. So even with the first dose, you still are in that sensitive area. And it is after the second dose, about 2 weeks after the second dose, that you actually reach at about 95% efficacy with your vaccine. So again, it is still important that we push the social distancing, still wearing the face mask, and things of that nature. So to be a little bit more precise with numbers, this table also shows the specific counties, the specific zip codes. And for Forest Park, as of the 14th of February, Forest Park has a total of 1,959 positive cases. That accounts for about 9.7% of the cases in Clayton County. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Forest Park falls fourth on our list. Jonesboro is first, Riverdale, Hampton, and then Forest Park. So just taking into consideration, Jonesboro's 31.5% of the positive cases, whereas Forest Park falls about 9.7% of the cases. And right after that falls Morrow at 9.2% of the cases. So that lets you know that, it is still important, as I said, to continue to push the protocols and the guidelines that are out there to try to reduce the spread of this disease. Now, the population still needs to be aware that there is a difference between having influenza and COVID, because I think a lot of people confuse, oh, I just have a common cold, or I just may be coming down with the flu, and they want to go around individuals not thinking or believing that they actually have contracted COVID. And I am here to tell you that it is just that simple, because again, I tell people all the time, my experience with this, I thought I had a simple head cold. I thought I had head congestion, and it wasn't until about 3 days after my head congestion started that I went to eat something and I could not taste. That was my telltale sign and brought concern for me. So the population still needs to be aware that even if you think you have the common cold, still go for testing, because that will help you determine whether or not it is the common cold, influenza, or COVID-19. So just to give you a little breakdown of this, influenza and both COVID-19 are both contagious respiratory illnesses, and they can spread. COVID-19, however, spreads a little bit more easily than the flu does, and it causes a more serious illness. So as you have heard, there are various variants or various strands of this variant that is out now. So that is causing even more concern and even more reason why we need to push the importance of the still social distancing, the wearing the mask, and being very cognizant of your surroundings and those other individuals that are around you, because there are still individuals out here that don't want to wear the mask. So that is very, very important. One of the other things that we need to be aware of are what are the symptoms that are associated with COVID-19. So it affects each individual differently. And when I say differently, it's because each person, their body responds to a foreign substance entering into their body differently. So 2 to 14 days after exposure or being around an individual that is positive is when someone can actually begin to exhibit symptoms. Most people will fall within that 2 to 14 day window. Some will fall almost at the end of that 14-day window. So again, anywhere between 2 to 14 days is when an individual may begin to exhibit those symptoms after exposure of someone who actually was positive with COVID-19. So what is included with the symptoms? Fever, chills, a cough, of course, the shortness of breath, which is what we've heard about, or difficulty breathing. Fatigue is another one. Muscle or body aches, headaches, loss of smell or taste, a sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. So as you can tell, some of these are the same symptoms that's associated with having the flu. So this is why it's important to understand that if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, it is okay to be tested, because again, it is better to know whether or not you have contracted the virus than to think you just have the common cold. So what we do is we do educate the public that there are certain telltale signs that you should seek medical attention. And that is, of course, when you're having trouble breathing, if there's a persistent pressure or chest pain, new confusion may appear, the inability to wake or stay awake. And those are definitely signs that an individual needs to seek medical attention. Now, when we say the inability to awake or stay awake, this means COVID gives you a tired feeling. It is one of those, you wake up and it's like, oh, you feel like you've already done a workout. This is when we say inability to wake or stay awake, this individual has fallen asleep and it's very difficult to awake them. Or they are awake and it's like they're falling asleep and it's like they just cannot stay awake. So those are telltale signs that they need to definitely seek medical attention. So with that, again, we do ask that individuals who are in the age group of the 65 and older definitely reach out to us for the vaccine, because that is the group that we are vaccinating. We are continuing to vaccinate our healthcare workers and our first responders. So again, these are individuals that are also at a higher risk of contracting the virus, and we want to definitely make sure that we take care of this population. Another myth that we like to debunk is that, oh, children can't get this. That is not true. Unfortunately, children can get the virus as well. So be mindful of that. It is very important that children wear the mask as well, wash their hands, and also social distance. So that you are aware, there are two types of testing that is out there. It is what we call a viral test or an antibody test. Now, the viral test is one of those tests that will tell us if you have a current infection. So again, the viral test tells us if you have a current infection, and typically that's one of the rapid tests, whereas the antibody test will tell us if you've had a past infection. So what's the difference between the two? Typically, the antibody test may be a serology test that will be done at the physician's office. We do not do those type of tests out in public health. We are limited in the type of testing that we do. So we typically do what are called the rapid tests or the PCR, and those are two tests that will go to the lab. So again, the viral test and the antibody test are the two tests that are out there. We are conducting the viral test. And just so that you know, our testing location has moved. We were testing at the back of our Battle Creek, the health department. We are now vaccinating in the back of the health department, so we had to move our testing location. That testing location has moved to 5900 Reynolds Road, and that is at a location called Rock Springs Baptist Church. It is a building that the city of Morrow purchased, and when we recognized that we would have to move our testing location because of vaccination, they were gracious enough to say, hey, we have a building that we purchased and feel free to use that. So testing has also been taken over by a company that the Department of Public Health State of Georgia has contracted with, which is called Mako Medical. They are now conducting the testing for us. Their website or their link is on our website. I could send that information out to you as well. So please know that just because we are vaccinating in the back of Battle Creek does not mean we are not testing. We are still testing in Clayton County. It is at 5900 Reynolds Road. That contract was brought about because, again, we needed to begin the vaccination process, and it was just best that we contract that service out, and that is what the state of Georgia did through the Department of Public Health, contracting out the testing portion. So the results are still a rapid turnaround. You still receive your results within a 48 to 72-hour window. It is a nasal swab, so it is not a saliva test. It is not a blood test. It is still a nasal swab that is conducted back there. So just being mindful that, again, if an individual is testing positive, we are still enforcing the guidelines that have been set forth by CDC, and that is stay home, do the self-quarantine of 10 to 14 days, stay hydrated. Hydration is very important with this. Separate yourself from other individuals, and also stay in touch with your doctor if needed. So it is still the same protocol that is in place. The other thing that I'd like you to know is that COVID is not going anywhere anytime soon. So this is going to be a long process that we're in. We anticipate vaccinating all through next year. Hopefully, there will be larger quantities of the vaccine available by the summer, and that way we can begin vaccinating the general population. But until then, it's going to go in a phased approach. In the next phase will possibly be those individuals that are considered essential workers. And again, know that this process is a fluid process, and based upon the demand that is out there and the influence that is out there, these phases or tiers that we're working with can be expanded. So this is why you see the expansion of the tier 1 to include now those individuals that are 65 and older, because technically they were in tier C under phase 1. So again, this is the information that is out there, and please, at any time, if you feel the need to contact me, if you have any questions, please do so. I'm always available.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
thank you.
If you could type real quick the website in the chat box, that would be great. And I see that we do have Chief Horton that joined us on the call. I want to thank everyone for joining us. And I'm going to allow Chief Horton to give us any updates that he may have. And at the very end, if you have any questions for our residents that are on the line with us, if you have any questions, I'll open up the line for questions. I know that Councilman Gutierrez did have a question that I will pose at the end. So Chief Horton, you have the floor, sir. Thank you so much, Ms. Tolbert. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Yes, Chief, and the message that you sent is true. They were targeting the best areas where they could do mass vaccination like that. And what they're trying to do is along the lines of what they did with mass testing. As you know, they did use the south side of the airport for testing, and which fell over into Clayton County. So yes, the GMA and Homeland Security are actually trying to replicate that process with those type of areas with mass vaccination. So hopefully they're looking at trying to pull in number in the thousands, probably anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 with getting vaccinated at those type of locations. So yes.
All right, thank you. Chief Horton.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine, that you're healthy and safe, and your families are also. Stacy, thanks. I apologize for getting on late, so I missed your information. And what I just sent to you and Councilperson James will be also on the city website for those 4 additional vaccination sites that GMA and Homeland Security is opening. You have the locations, and they're going to do 11,000 people a day, hopefully, for the underserved and vulnerable population. So that should assist somewhat. We know here, Stace, as you know, Councilperson James, we had a very limited, I think less than 8% of Forest Park population who participated in the vaccination here at the rec center. And we simply got to do better than that. So we're in the process of working with Stacy, Public Health, and Dr. Augustine. And Stacy, I hope I'm not being redundant in what you repeat again. I apologize for being late. But Councilman James, you should know, that we're working aggressively with public health, Dr. Augustine, to develop a program where our firefighters can go out to the at-risk community here in Forest Park and provide those vaccinations, I should say, also. I'll digress at this moment, and if you allow me, I'll invite Captain Batten in to discuss fire prevention activity that's going on, so you can pass on, and particularly grilling safety.
Yeah, he actually went, so see.
Okay. I sounded good, right? Okay.
Yes. Sir.
Charles, how you doing, buddy? So thanks a lot.
So thank you so much for joining us. If there's anybody on the call that has a question for our directors that are on the line with us, now's your opportunity to ask questions. I know that Gutierrez, Councilman Gutierrez, had a question from a resident regarding the neighborhood watch meetings. Lieutenant Yermak, I don't know if you're still on, but I know that Mayor also had mentioned something about getting the neighborhood watch meeting started again. So Lieutenant Yermak, can you speak to that at all?
You know, I know we've discussed it. I don't know, how far that's gotten, just because, we do have such limited capability to have mass meetings like that, where we're going to have, large groups of people kind of in the same area at the same time. So it's something that we have been discussing, but I don't know how far along into that discussion we are. I'll follow up with the deputy chiefs and see if they maybe have some additional information that could be sent out, in the near future.
And I know Mayor had mentioned possibly having virtual meetings just to kind of get the information out there, because I know that a nice number of people want to get that neighborhood watch portion kind of back into play. So
okay, I'll certainly pass that along.
Have some ongoing discussions about that. Is there anyone else that has let me look at the chat. Is there anyone else that has a question?
No, I have a statement.
Oh, Ms. Williams, school board member. We have Victoria Williams on the call. Victoria, do you have any updates from the school that you would like to give us real quick?
No, there's no real updates. We still virtual, still looking at the numbers. Some people still want the schools to open, but we're trying to keep it safe right now, not open and close, open and close. But I want to tell you about the food drives we have tomorrow at Huey Elementary from 12 to 2. They have a food drive, and then we also have one between 2 and 4 at the homeless department over off Tremor Road across from Mora High School. That's between 2 and 4. If you know anybody needs food assistance.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for that.
And we can't wait for the teachers to get vaccinated. What do you think that'll be next year, Ms. Tolbert? Next school year for the teachers?
Cannot give you a definitive answer on that. I will let you know, though, that the health department, we are working with Clayton County Public Schools on a plan that when that phase does open up, that the medical staff with the schools will be able to assist with that vaccination process. So until they release and say, hey, it's a go for teachers, we still can't do anything with the teachers, unfortunately. I do understand their concern with that, and I think that those that are in the higher up positions are hearing that. So again, this vaccination process is a fluid process, and we can go to sleep tonight and tomorrow they do a news conference and say, hey, we're going to open it up for teachers. So again, it is until they give us a definitive answer about when that will be. I cannot say when, unfortunately, but just know that we are working with Clayton County Public Schools to ensure that there is a process in place when that phase opens.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have just a few announcements and then I'm going to let everybody go. And again, I want to thank you for joining us on the call. And the call is recorded and it will be posted on the city's website under Ward 1. You'll be able to get the valuable information. I want to thank all of our directors and city staff that was on the line to provide information, from the police department, from the Public Works Department, Fire Department, Economic Development Department, Zoning Department. We appreciate you all giving your time tonight. Thank you for the Department of Health for being on the line, Ms. Tolbert, for giving us an update. As Ms. Williams mentioned, there is a food giveaway in 2 locations, one at Huey Elementary, that's 1260 Rock Cut Road from 12 to 2 on tomorrow, and then from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 2260 Old Rex Morrow Road in Morrow. That is being sponsored by the school board and I think it's Amera Group, Ms. Williams. Give everybody their props. I am having a Unity and Healing meeting on March the 4th. I'll be the flyer is being updated right now, but we'll have special guests, pastors, local pastors in the area. I believe that we have some great leaders, clergy leaders in our community that we want to tap into. And so the meeting will only be an hour and a half, and we'll have 6 guest pastors presenting from different churches, Ash Street Baptist Church, First Baptist Church on Main Street, the Hispanic Church on Conley Road, Say Felipe de Jesus, I believe is how you pronounce it, Amazing Grace on Forest Parkway, as well as the Rock Church of Atlanta on Conley Road. So these are guest pastors that will be, so please invite your people out to get information on just being unified. We just want to unify our community, and we want to bring healing to our community. So that's going to take place on March the 4th at 6 p.m. And then on Sunday, March the 7th, I am hosting a team. It's a virtual hunger walk and run. That flyer should be posted soon. I believe the last updates are today, so that should be out. If you want to donate, I have a goal of $1,000. I'm trying to, and the money goes to the Atlanta Community Food Bank, but it's under the name Forest Park High School. But it would allow us to do more food giveaways at the high school for our community. And so you can sign up to walk or run if you want. I am going to walk, and you'll get a t-shirt also with that. So be looking out for that flyer. It'll be on our city's website as well. But I invite you to make donations to that and even participate. You know, you'll walk, but you'll walk in your own personal space. Wherever you are, walk from your home, walk around your block or whatever, but probably you have to have your phone to video yourself walking with a t-shirt or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but it's a virtual walk and run to raise money for the to feed our community. And I think that's it. Mayor mentioned, and I think Director Shelby mentioned also, there's a public hearing with the URA and expanding their reach. So that is on front and center on our Forest Park website. So make sure you take a look at that. So again, thank you to all the directors. Welcome again to Dr. Cooper for joining us, our incoming city manager. We're excited for you to start and we appreciate you. And that's all I have. So thank you all. And you all have a great evening. And thank you so much for giving your time this evening.
Thank you for having us.